You betcha. I appreciate everybody coming on and changing up their schedule. We had a couple signings going on this morning, and I wanted to be able to include everybody, and so I appreciate you accommodating the time change. But we feel like we signed an excellent class. As I say every year, I don't know a football coach who doesn't say that. You know, you'd have some problems if you didn't say you're excited about the class that you're bringing in. But, you know, rankings, you never know about all those things. I think this is one of the higher ranked classes that Tulane has had before. But when we go out and recruit, we got to find, the total student athlete. We talk about, recruiting bona fide Division I student athletes with character. And then we retain them, which is so important nowadays, by providing a culture where they can thrive and grow. And last but certainly not least is develop these guys, as people, as football players, and also as students. We're very proud of the fact that every young man that's come through our program has graduated. We're going to continue to keep doing that. We've got a whole bunch of guys who are graduating next week, a whole bunch of guys who are graduating in May, and a bunch of them still have eligibility left. So that's the number one priority for us. And when we sell Tulane and coming here and playing ball, we talk to them about three different things. One, the opportunity to get a world-class education. We're the 39th ranked school academically out of 4,140 colleges and universities across the United States and Canada. We're proud of that. Number two, we play in an unbelievable league. You all understand that because you follow us and you come to games and know what the American Athletic Conference is all about. We're on national TV every week. You can watch our games live. I make the joke all the time that we're never on ESPN, the Ocho. We're on ABC. We're on ESPN. We're on ESPN2. We're on the big stations, and kids like that. That's important to them, and the reason for that is the American Athletic Conference has such quality in it. And then last but not least, we sell the city of New Orleans. 2018, the New York Times ranked New Orleans as the number one destination city in the world. So when they come here and they visit, we really try to show off the city, and kids get here and they fall in love with the city, and our guys really enjoy it. We've kind of got back to normal here the last couple months. We had the COVID season, which everybody experienced, and then we also had the Ida season, which only our team and some other local colleges and universities experienced. But here in the last couple of months, we've gotten back to normal, and our freshmen are starting to understand what makes Tulane so great and also so unique. Early in the season, I had a couple of the freshman parents tell me, my son's not having a whole lot of fun. And I said, well, I'm not having any fun either. Join the club. But we've gotten back to normal, and we're very, very excited about it. We signed student athletes from 6 different states. We're always going to recruit nationwide because of our academic requirements that we have here. They are different than the other schools in our conference. We understand that, and that's why we've graduated all our guys, because we've got guys who can also compete in the classroom. Just kind of going through by position, and then we can talk a little bit more. And I'm going to kind of save the local guys, I think, until last. But, we've really got some good guys signed up to play on the defensive line. Isaiah Boyd from out in Pennsylvania, good size, good length. He's been committed to us for a long time. Came in the summer, had an outstanding senior year. Gerard Henderson from Spring High School over in Houston, Texas. He had a bunch of offers, a bunch of Power 5 offers. And we're very, very fortunate to get him. He's the district MVP. He's got some background in New Orleans. He's got his family lived here. He was excited about coming back, and that was another reason why we were able to get him. And then also Patrick Jenkins. Patrick's from John Ehret High School. Started last year at TCU. He wanted to come back home. I was getting a call almost every day from guys who enter the portal and want to come back to New Orleans. And I used it this year in recruiting with a few kids from New Orleans. I just can't take everybody. Things change every year. But we got some real quality guys who went away, thought the lights were a little brighter and everything else, and they missed home. And they contacted us and came back. And Patrick is really, really excited about coming back. We think he can be a dominant defensive lineman for us. He's from the mold of a Jeffrey Johnson. He can play every down, pass rush. We feel like he's got an opportunity to be a dominant player in this conference. So all three of those guys are excellent defensive linemen. Linebacker-wise, we signed a great linebacker from Alabama. He just played last week in the Alabama-Mississippi All-Star game. Taylor Love put up some great numbers. We were recruiting against a bunch of people for him. Great strength, kind of in the mold of a Nick Anderson. Really will strike you. A lot of suddenness to him. He has linebacker movement. Can also play pass coverage, which a lot of guys in high school aren't able to do. Comes from a quality program. So we're very excited about getting him. And then in the back end, the secondary, Rayshawn Pleasant from West Monroe. He turned down quite a few schools to come here, and that's an unbelievable program over there at West Monroe. He came to our camp, did a great job. We love bringing guys into camp so that we can get actual measurements on them. A lot of times somebody will tell me a guy's 6 foot and he's about 3 inches shorter than me. So once we get these guys over here, we get some real measurements on them, and Rayshawn knocked it out of the park with us. And then also Caden Robinson from Rockwall High School over there in Dallas-Fort Worth Metroplex. They had a great season. He did a 10'6" standing broad jump, which is really explosive. He's got some length on him. He's a shade over 6 foot. I think he had close to 33-inch reach with his arms, and we were very, very fortunate to get him. I believe that was all the defensive players. Is that correct? It was. All right, and then on the offensive side of the ball, looking at receivers, I'm going to start off with, McDonough 35 product. Played for Coach Reese, the late Coach Reese, one of the great coaches in the history of the city of New Orleans. I got to know him well, had a ton of respect for him, and so does Lawrence Keys. Lawrence went up to Notre Dame, played a bunch for him. Same thing, Lawrence wanted to come back home. And he's really got a couple years they could possibly play for us, and very, very excited about getting Lawrence Keys back here. He missed New Orleans. He's got his degree from Notre Dame, and he'll be getting a graduate degree from Tulane. That's a pretty good combination there, isn't it? An undergrad from Notre Dame and a graduate degree from Tulane. I believe he'll get a pretty good job if he's not playing in the NFL. So we're very proud of getting Lawrence back here with us. We've also got Day McDougal. He had 5 big-time visits coming out of high school. I believe he visited Alabama on an official visit. He ended up going to Maryland. And one of the big reasons we got him, he's high school teammates with Michael Pratt. They played together at Deerfield Beach and had a great run their senior year. And, they still maintain contact. He went into the portal, and Michael immediately called me, and he went for 5 minutes just talking about Day and his character. Didn't talk anything about his playing ability, how he's going to be a positive addition to our squad and program and to Tulane University. And, he came on his visit. We just, fell in love with the kid, and very, very excited about having him and Lawrence. Those guys both provide some experience and also some leadership as well with some of the younger guys. And we got a bunch of receivers that are coming back with, Jaquan Jackson, the Wattses, Shea Wyatt. So that needs to be an area of strength for us. Running back, Sade Clayton from Warren Easton High School, played for a former Green Wave great, Jerry Phillips, over there at Warren Easton High School. Same thing with him. He went to out there to Colorado, and I don't know if he knew it was going to get chilly there or not, but I told him he didn't need to bring a coat on his visit, and he came back in. He's going to actually live at home. I tell these guys all the time about Darnell Mooney. Darnell actually, saved $52,000 just before NIL when he played here at Tulane, and he told me he's going to do the same thing when he comes here. But we're very, very excited about having him. Bigger back, good speed, great movement. He can catch a ball out of the backfield. Coached really well at Warren Easton High School. He'll protect and get in the middle of a blitzing linebacker. So we're pumped up about having him. And then also Mekhi Hughes from over in Alabama. Great career over there. Again, comes from a fantastic program. They play top flight football in his area. We were over there in Birmingham for a long time, and he actually came over and watched us play a game over there, then came over here. He decommitted from another school, and very, very fortunate to get him. Again, both these guys have got good size. They're both probably going to end up playing in their career around 210. But they're full. They can do everything. I had Matt Forte and Moelde Moore and Gerald Sowell talk to all these guys during COVID, and it was interesting listening to all those three guys who played a long time in the NFL and played at Tulane. They talked about being a complete back. And in order to be a complete back, you got to have a little bit of mass and size. And these guys are certainly complete running backs, and that's what you got to have. Tight ends, we signed a great tight end out of Mississippi, Blake Gunner. He came over here and absolutely fell in love with Tulane, and I don't know how many of our games he came to, probably 4 or 5 of our games, and really fortunate to get him. Won the state championship over in Mississippi, and really did a great job over there. I left out another guy on the defensive line, Cameron Hamilton. Cameron, state champion at Zachary High School, district MVP defensively. Again, another big guy, 6'3", legit 6'3", 280 pounds. One of the things we got to continue to keep getting bigger, longer, more mass on the inside, and Cam is a great addition. Slade Nagel, one of our coaches, his father's an assistant coach over at Zachary, so you get some inside knowledge on a student athlete when you got somebody that close to the program. But both Slade's dad and Coach Brew, the head coach at Zachary, couldn't say enough great things about him, and we were very, very fortunate to get him. Those are all the defensive guys, correct? Yeah. Wide receivers, I was going to talk about Chris Brazel II. Okay, I'm not going to say I'm getting old. I'm getting experienced. Chris's dad played for me and was a great player for me at Blinn Junior College back in 1994 and 95. We won a couple of national championships with him. And, Chris, his father ended up going to Angelo State and was a Division II All-American, 6th-round draft pick of the New York Jets. Actually is best friends with Gerald Sowell. So he knows all about Tulane and everything about our program. And Gerald was pushing Chris Jr. towards Tulane. It's great when you get your alums helping you out in the recruiting process. But Chris was a 6th-round draft pick of the Jets, played the Cowboys, then played 8 years in the CFL as well. And his wife, Chris Jr.'s mom, is one of the top scorers in the history of Angelo State. So he's got great pedigree. Chris is a bigger receiver, 6'3", 180-some pounds. I watched him play basketball last Tuesday night. I think he had 4 dunks in the game. Underneath the bucket, on breakaways, sensational athlete. I think he's just scratching the level of ability that he's going to have. I really feel like in a couple of years he's going to be 200 pounds and running like a deer, jumping out of the gym. Or jumping out of the field. I guess I shouldn't say gym, right? not going to be playing basketball here too. Coach Hunter will get some ideas if I talk about that. But very excited about having him as well. We talked about Lawrence and Day. What other receiver I got here? Jalen Rogers. His nickname's Speedy. So you don't get the nickname Speedy if you're not fast. He came to our camp. You know, I've only timed a few guys that have run in the 4.3s. You know, everybody always says they run a 4.3, they run a 4. Just like the height. I time them, they run a 4.5. You know, I don't know what happens. But he ran a 4.3 for us. He's one of the fastest guys I've timed. He put on a show out here when he was at camp. Unfortunately, he went from one high school to another high school, and he wasn't able to play his senior year. Probably was good for us. So we're very, very excited about Speedy, him coming here. One of his best buddies is our quarterback signee, Carson Haggard. A bunch of my coaches thought they were doing a fabulous job of recruiting Carson, and then he came here on his visit, and I met his sister, Maddie, who's a student here at Tulane. So she was really the ace recruiter with us getting Carson here, but he played at Gulliver Prep High School, one of the top high schools in the state of Florida, put up impressive numbers as a quarterback, you know, a servant leader just like the other quarterbacks that we have in our football program, and we're pumped up to have Carson here. He knows all about Tulane. I think he came to 4 games last year, and he's going to be an early enrollee as well. And then on the offensive line, you know, we've gotten bigger. We signed Sully Burns out of Plano High School, one of the bigger high schools in the state of Texas. I think they've got over 5,000 students, and he's got tremendous size. He's a man mountain. He was injured his junior year, had a broken arm, wasn't able to participate with the program, and that probably helped us as well. And he's an excellent student. His dad came on the visit, and they were just so excited about the educational opportunities here at Tulane. And he's an aggressive guy. You know, he knows the difference between Khmer and Sikkim. And we'll sometimes get those bigger guys, and they don't know that difference. He competes and gets after it. I think I hit everybody. Is that correct? I got one more guy that we're going to add here. Hopefully by the time we get done, we'll have it set up. Oh, he is. Trod Henderson. We talked about him from Spring High School. He's good to go. One of the top players in the city of Houston. We all know the great football they have over there. And then one guy we're going to be adding, and hopefully that's going to be within the next hour or two, but he's going to be an outstanding player for us. I can't comment on him quite yet because we don't have his papers here, but I'll open it up. I know I was a little windy there, but I'll open it up for any questions anybody might have.
Willie, you touched on it, but last year all recruiting was by Zoom, by video conference. How much more comfortable did you feel with the process this year?
Well, you know, last year when I didn't meet any of our players until they walked in here to come to school here at Tulane, and that's not good. You know, you can't tell much about a guy over Zoom, you know, and you don't get asked questions to the counselors, the custodians, the coaches, the assistant coaches, and most schools across, you know, the area that we recruit, we probably know somebody at the school. You know, like when we go to throughout the state of Louisiana, we know somebody at the school. Somebody knows them, you know, and you get a real evaluation. You know, so it's so much better when you really have a true eval on character. That's the big one. You know, and I have no desire to be around a guy who's a pain in the butt for 4 years. None. You know, if a guy's had a bad 18 years, it's hard for us to change him. You know, we run a very disciplined, structured program, and we expect our guys to do a great job in the classroom. We expect them not to ever embarrass us off the field, and we expect them to go out and practice their tails off out there on the field. And so when you do that, you better have character.
Willie, how much can the guys
I think big time. I think Lawrence is chomping at the bit, to get out there and play a bunch. We're going to have great competition at the receiver position this spring. I remember watching him in high school. I went over and watched, stood on the sideline and watched him play against Easton. And I was like, wow, that guy's a good football player. And for whatever reason, he didn't play as much as he wanted to or at Notre Dame. But he had a very good career there. But I know he's excited about having the opportunity to come here. Mr. Clayton, I'm just, same thing with him. I watched him play a game in high school. I believe he had over 1,000 yards his senior year in just 5 games. He got hurt as a junior and came back and played the final 5 games and had over 1,000 yards. And the schedule those guys play, and a bunch of those were in playoff games. So he's got that size and competitiveness that you're looking for. And then Patrick Jenkins, he had an outstanding season last year at TCU. I talked to a couple of those guys that were on the staff last year, and all they said was fantastic things about him. And we recruited the dog out of, him in high school, and thought we had a chance to get him and lost him there at the last minute. But the common denominator between all 3 of those guys is they wanted to come back home. They wanted to come back home, and, sometimes guys don't realize until they go away, what a hardship it is for your families to come watch you play. They can just drive right down the road and get here. So, yeah, we're expecting big things out of all 3 of those guys.
Willie, this is an impressive class. What does this say about?
We're talking about COVID, hurricanes, body scans, big events, high-profile crimes.
Hey, we got somebody that needs to. I think Carly, can you go? There you go. Thank you. All right, go ahead, Ken.
Thanks, Will. What is this class, which is an impressive class, what does this say about your program, considering that you had to go everything that you went through last year with Birmingham, Ida recovery, strain on the kids, the record that it ended up producing? What does this impressive class have to say about your coaching staff and your program?
Ken, that was a very good way to structure that question. You really wanted to say going 2-10. Having a quality class. So very, very nice of you, Ken. I think we sell the same thing, the world-class education. I mean, it's big time here. And if a guy just wants to come here and play football, I'm not one of those coaches who does a disservice to student athletes and just talks about playing pro ball. We got 15 guys playing right now. I got a few other guys that are playing the NFL that played for me at some other places I was at. Hey, if we talk about a parallel plan, all right, strive to play if that's a goal of yours, work your tail off to play in the NFL. And we have a bunch of guys doing it now. We've had a bunch of guys that have done it in the past at a high level. Right? I mentioned Matt Forte. He's going to be in the Ring of Honor with the Chicago Bears here at some point in time. I mean, that guy had a sensational career. Willie Moore, sensational career. Bunch of guys. I don't like to start naming 1 or 2 guys. I got a good luck in signing from Sean King last night. But we've had a bunch of, and we got a bunch of them right now. All right, so that's a good goal to have. But what are you going to do the next 40 years of your life? All these guys are doing something that had these great careers in the NFL. They need to just shut it down and not do anything. So, yeah, that's what we sell is getting that degree, using it to your advantage, and then finding something you got a passion for. I've got a passion for coaching. I love it. All right, I knew that at an early age. One of the things we try to do with our career services department is find out early what these guys want to do. And we're lucky. We're in a bigger city. We got internship opportunities for these guys. We got some really great alums in the greater New Orleans area. So it's a different setup than other places that I've been at.
Coach, the reason, and listen, thank you for the comments. The reason I structured that question, talk to some of the kids who realized it was more than just going to Birmingham. Because many of those kids had families that they couldn't see, they couldn't get back to. And when you look at that, yeah, it might result in a 2-win season. What I was thinking more of was, I think, and then the question was geared at, I think you guys did a good job of maybe making people understand that and having people understand that situation in your recruiting process. So when they look at the overall body of work, they say, yeah, this year was what it was, but when they look at the overall body of work, I think it was a pretty impressive job. Or how would you rate it?
Well, I thought our guys did a great job. You know, a couple things. One, we were one of only 9 schools, and I've researched this. I've heard people say 11 or 10. It's 9 schools that actually played all their games during the COVID season. We didn't have to press pause, and so I'm proud of that. To me, that means our guys could follow rules. Okay, and our coaches did a great job of, we bed checked every night. We were wearing masks. I was the mask czar in the building, and it was a pain in the rump, but our guys, fought through it. It shows character. And then, like you talked about, we went over to, Birmingham for 25 nights. We had 31 dogs over there, cats. We had the whole athletic department in there, and all the teams I thought behaved in a mature manner. Volleyball, baseball, basketball, track and field, everybody. It wasn't just football. Then we came back, and a bunch of the guys had to stay in hotels for a long time because their house was destroyed. Or they stayed in a hotel for, I think, another 5-6 nights when we got back in town. So, yeah, it was a different year. I hate going over it too many times because it feels like a whole bunch of excuses. Because I'd much rather brag about it, and we were 8-4 or something. But I had very, very, very few problems, this year. And like I always repeat this. My old man used to tell me all the time, hang around with smart people, because they don't do as many dumb things as dumb people do. And we got smart kids here, and they've had a good 18 years in their upbringing, and they know the difference between right and wrong. And that's why it's so important to recruit character. Hey, I got my other edition here that's going to be, I just got done signing for, so I can comment on. Keenan McNally. All right, Keenan is from Kearney, Missouri High School. All right, just a suburb of Kansas City. That's where I'm from. He's the tallest kid I've ever had play for me. He's a pro measure, 6'0", 8'7". That's barefoot. Heels together, toes up, in the air. There might not be anybody in the NFL who's that tall. Maybe. 300-plus pounds. And he was a basketball player, and he started getting into football here late. And he came here and worked out for us and did an awesome job working out. I don't know if he went to any other camps. And so we were able to see it. And I'm from Kansas City, so I knew a few people up there, and we were fortunate enough to get him down here. And like I said, we want to get taller and longer, and 6'9" and 6'6" with Sully Burns. That's getting us taller. That's getting us longer. So we're very, very pumped up about having Keenan join our program as well.
Willie, you mentioned Carson Hager's going to be coming in early. Are there any other of your high school signees?
Yeah, we think Sully Burns is going to be able to come in early. Obviously, Clayton, Jenkins, Keys, and McDougal are all going to be in early. They'll all be here at semester.
So Josh Clayton.
Cameron Hamilton from Zachary, I think will be in here early as well. I think that's everybody.
So Clayton, is he totally healthy coming here?
Yeah, he's good to go. He, I think he had 20 carries for 100 some odd yards last year. And he's just going to be a sophomore. And as a matter of fact, I take that back. He's going to be a freshman. He had the COVID year, and he played less. He played 4 games or less this season, so he'll be a freshman.
Willie, 3 questions if I could, please. In kind of reverse order, what are you going to do with your staff? Are you surprised that the season you had didn't hurt you in recruiting? And were you worried about anybody trying to steal your quarterback?
I guess I'll go backwards to front. I think Michael's all in. I think our kids are all in. Michael's a servant leader, and he's got a lot of loyalty to his teammates, and that's probably why we got Day, because of him. He sold him on coming here and playing with him. We're proud of the fact, we lost one guy during the season, and then we haven't lost anybody since the season got over. So I think that's a testimony to our culture, the kids that we got here, and plus they value this education. We don't, if all we do is sit around and talk about football all day, they think, well, I'm gonna go play football someplace else. And believe me, football is very important to us. We want to win as much or more than anybody in the nation, but I also want to see these guys get a fantastic job and get set up for the rest of their life, because you're not playing football forever. All right, what was the number two question?
As far as the staff, can you tell me what you're gonna do there?
Yeah, I tell you what, when we lost our offensive coordinator, it was at a time right now where I got a little time to make that decision and find a replacement. So we're working on it right now, but we don't come back to school till January the 18th, and this is a critical hire for me. So I'm not going to say I'm going to take my time so much that I might lose some candidates going other places, but I'm also not going to rush it where I make an incorrect decision. So right now I'm doing a whole lot of phone interviews with different people, and we're having a lot of interest in this job from all over the country, from some high quality current offensive coordinators, past offensive coordinators. We're actively looking at guys. I hope to have a strength coach hired by Friday or Saturday of this week, and have that finished and completed. So yeah, we're working at it hard to replace those two spots. There's one other question.
And as far as the season you had, it did not appear to hurt you in recruiting. Was that a pleasant surprise for you, or were you not worried about that?
Oh, I just think, the relationships that we've built, I think some of the kids understood the hardships that we endured during the season. And, again, we got, this is a great university. And, I think I have a little different approach than some other people do in recruiting in regards to emphasizing other things besides just playing football. And if a guy, has it, he understands, it's not a 4-year decision, it's a 40-year decision, we got a chance to get him. And, but we also want those guys who want to be a great football player. So we feel like we got all of it here at Tulane. And, we've been real close, played in 3 bowl games in a row. We've had a couple years in there where we could have maybe won 8, 9, 10 games. And we want to get back to that, and we want to, push through that wall that we've been hitting. We've been awful close, but we want to get it done, and I'm more determined than ever to get it done.
Any other questions for Coach Fritz?
Hey, thanks for you guys. Go ahead.
How difficult has it been to recruit high school talent from New Orleans and from Louisiana as a whole during this cycle?
I don't know. We've signed. One of the things about New Orleans is it is recruited big time. I've made the joke before. I don't know if coaches fly in here, recruit, run down to Bourbon Street. I don't know, but they all seem to come here, and so you have a lot of competition here in New Orleans, we've got, we're not going to settle for, seconds or thirds. We want guys that can that can come out here and start and play for us. You know, like a Macon Clark from Destrehan. You know, like an Adonis Freelo from Hanville. Like an Angelo Anderson from John Curtis High School. You know, we've gotten a lot of kids locally, and then we got to have the grade component. You know, they can't just have a pulse to get into school here, man. They got to have some good grades. So, you know, and then you got to find guys that, you know, that want to do all these things and have that type of characters. So, you know, Louisiana is a state of 4.7 million people. It's, you know, either 1, 2, or 3 every year in NFL players per capita. So there is unbelievable talent in this state, but it's recruited big time. And, you know, there's just not, you know, if we just try to go in Louisiana, if we get them all, that'd be great. But we're not going to get them all, you know, so we've got to cast our net a little bit broader than just Louisiana. I'd love to just get all the kids from here locally. That would be fantastic. But they got to be bona fide Division I student athletes with character, and there's got to be an emphasis on the student part.
One last thing for me, are you gonna have room in February for some more, for any?
Yes. Yeah, we will, but not a whole bunch. You know, we've also got standards that these guys got to meet as grad students and transfer students, and you know, so we'll do a good job of continuing to recruit, but you know, we've always got, you know, I always try to leave a little bit of room for a quality student athlete that can help us win now.
Anything else for Coach Fritz?
Coach, what's your number for today, your total? Could you tell me what your total is today?
17.
With Keenan, is it 17? 17.
17. And you have room for how many, Coach?
Oh, probably between 3 and 5.
3 and 5 more, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Anybody else?
Good, thanks.
All right, thank you all.
Thank you, guys.
Appreciate it.